Imagine this. You're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, guided only by a compass, a map, and your instincts. The map shows an island right ahead, but when you arrive, nothing, just endless, empty ocean. For centuries, sailors swore there was an island here, Sandy Island. It appeared on maps, in atlases, even in scientific records. And then, it vanished. But here's the twist. Sandy Island never existed. So how did one of history's greatest cartographic mysteries survive for over 200 years? But before we start today's episode, hit the thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe so you can stay updated on our latest videos to understand Sandy Island. We need to rewind to the 18th century, the golden age of exploration. This was a time when vast stretches of the globe were blank, and explorers raced to chart the unknown. Every journey could bring fame, fortune, or disaster. In 1774, Captain James Cook, one of history's most famous navigators, sailed through the Coral Sea, near modern-day New Caledonia. Somewhere in his records, a mysterious island was marked. Small, remote, and barely described. This would later become known as Sandy Island. And once an island made it onto a chart, it was treated as real. Cartographers copied it into new maps, sailors avoided it, and over decades, it became fact. A land that no one had ever set foot on, but everyone believed existed. Back then, maps weren't just tools, they were authority. Maps were like the internet of the 18th century, the final word on what was real. If a map said there was land, you believed it. But here's the problem. Maps were copied by hand, updated slowly, and often full of errors. If one explorer mistakenly saw an island, maybe a mirage, maybe floating pumice, it got recorded, and once it was there, it spread. A single mistake could ripple across the world. That's how Sandy Island, barely described by Cook, survived for centuries. Ink on a map became an entire reality. Now, fast forward to 2012. That's right, this isn't just some dusty history story. In 2012, a team of Australian scientists set out to study plate tectonics in the Pacific. Their ship's GPS said they were right on top of Sandy Island, but when they looked out, ocean. When they checked sonar, nothing but deep seafloor, thousands of meters down. No chance an island had ever been there. Imagine the scene. The scientists, staring at their maps and their instruments, realizing they'd just proven an island didn't exist. In fact, they'd erased it from history. Sandy Island was officially undiscovered. So, how does an island that never existed fool the world for so long? There are three main theories. 1. Human error. Early explorers could mistake floating pumice, chunks of volcanic rock drifting on the sea, for land. From a distance, it looks like a coastline. Clouds on the horizon, optical illusions, even schools of fish could trick tired sailors. 2. Copy-paste mistakes. Maps were often copied by hand. If one had an error, the next one did too. Some mistakes survived for centuries just because no one double-checked. And 3. Deliberate fakes. Believe it or not, some mapmakers added fake places on purpose. Why? To catch copycats? If another publisher copied your map and included your fake island, you could prove they stole your work. Think of it as a 300-year-old copyright trap. But Sandy Island isn't unique. History is full of phantom islands, places that appeared on maps, shaped exploration, and then vanished. Take Brazil. Not Brazil, the country Brazil. A mythical island, said to appear west of Ireland once every 7 years. It showed up on maps for centuries, inspiring explorers and storytellers alike. Or Friesland, supposedly in the North Atlantic. For over 100 years, it was printed on maps, even though no one ever found it. And then there's California. For decades, European maps showed California not as part of the mainland, but as an island. Entire expeditions were funded on the belief it was a separate landmass. These weren't just harmless mistakes. Phantom islands influenced trade, colonization, even wars. They shaped how nations viewed the world. Think about the impact of these errors. In the age of sail, navigation was life or death. A ship that expected to find land, fresh water, supplies, could starve if it wasn't there. A ship avoiding phantom reefs might sail hundreds of miles off course. So Sandy Island wasn't just a curiosity, it represented a bigger problem. Our knowledge of the world was fragile, and sometimes, we trusted the map more than our own eyes. Today, with satellites and sonar, it's almost impossible for a phantom island to survive. Google Earth, GPS, radar, they've stripped the mystery from our oceans. But that doesn't mean the lessons are gone. The story of Sandy Island teaches us something bigger. Knowledge is only as good as the people who create it. Maps weren't truth. They were human attempts to capture truth. And humans, well, we make mistakes. And yet, there's something beautiful about these phantom places. They were dreams drawn in ink. Brazil, Friesland, Sandy Island, they were glimpses of the human imagination, lingering on paper, shaping how generations saw the world. In a way, maps were never just about geography. They were about stories. In Sandy Island, it's a story about how we believe, how we doubt, and how we discover. So here's the question. Do you think Sandy Island was just a mistake? Or was there something more to it? Maybe someone really did see something in 1774. A volcanic raft of pumice, a mirage, or maybe an island that has since sunk beneath the waves. Drop your theories in the comments. And if you love stories where history and science collide, hit subscribe because we've got plenty more mysteries to uncover.